Hello and welcome to the Tifo Football Podcast. I'm Joe Devine, and today I'm delighted to be joined by JJ Bull.
Good afternoon.
Reuben Pinder.
Hello.
And Jack Pitt-Brooke.
Good afternoon.
All right, buddy, how's it going?
Fine.
Yeah? you weren't sure what to say there, were you?
I didn't know if it was a genuine ask.
Yeah, I know. It's hard to know sometimes when a host asks you something.
You did change your tone really quickly from
I was trying to catch you up.
to genuine.
That's it, yeah. Well, I can do that. I've got it in my creative lexicon, you know? How's your father? Big fan of his. Anyway, how's Steve? You're here as well.
Good morning.
Yeah, there you go. Right. What else is happening on today's Tifo Football Podcast show? Well, we start, of course, with a shock victory for Wolves over Liverpool. Very exciting. We discuss their renaissance under Rob Edwards, even though his side are probably still doomed. Do I secretly find joy in being annoyed? Well, a little Freudian slip when reading an Arne Slot quote brings that one to the surface. Mother! Speaking of Slot... Speaking of Slot, we speak about if his candour in press conferences is a sign that he'll move on from Liverpool during the summer. Who could say? And after a break, we play a rondo. Now, I don't want to give away, but could anybody claim Kaya's Rondo del Rey crown? Well, we'll find it. It's a good one today. It's a very, very good one today. Stick around for that. Post-Rondo, of course, we talk about Tottenham Hotspur versus Crystal Palace. A small bird-themed script line creates an unintended diversion, right, Steve, into the surprising wildlife around the vast metropolis of London. People really should watch that David Attenborough program, by the way. It's 100%. Go home and watch it. Okay.
To watch a seagull drown another creature.
Well, now, maybe in Attenborough's younger days, the pigeon would have died. But Attenborough doesn't. It just shows you the peril.
Do you think an eagle could carry David Attenborough away?
Probably. I'd
probably
say he
doesn't weigh a lot anymore.
I think his bones are hollow now. Yeah. Yeah. He's very old. He's very old. Yeah. He's in his 90s, isn't he?
That is old.
Yes.
Yeah, it is old. Watching him present from his garden is just...
Magic?
It's magical. It's lovely.
He's got seagulls drowning stuff in his garden.
They bring the wildlife there nowadays. Yeah.
How far back? That's true.
Yeah, come on, the dragons.
Bring
Just
me
like,
the wildlife.
Let them loose.
How far back does the malaise Tottenham find themselves in begin? Well, we go back to those heady days of the title challenge under Pochettino to try and find answers with Jack. And to end, we head to North Wales and look ahead to Wrexham playing Chelsea at the weekend and their potential promotion all the way to the Premier League. We discuss that. And that's it, apart from this last little bit here I saw. Now, you said before, Reuben, what did you say? I was very good at switching tone very quickly. Well, it's going to be important here. It's going to be important here because Discord user Joe, not me, a different Joe, sent a little note in the Pets channel saying that Joe had to say goodbye to the 16-year-old cat Poppy on Wednesday. Very sad. So I thought I would include here that we all wish Poppy a fine cat Valhalla. Enjoy. You know what I was thinking? What can a cat do in Valhalla apart from hunt with the
Valkyrie?
Cat's knees will no longer ache, will they?
When you said Valhalla, my first thought was what you meant was they were going to put it in a little coffin and then push it along the river and set fire to the coffin.
No, well, I mean, a Joe can do. I'm sure.
Viking burial for the cat.
Don't know what the rules are on disposing of animal carcasses. Probably not allowed to do that. I would
Could you
say.
do that?
I don't think so. But assuming that you don't have to do that to get into Valhalla. You know,
would I be allowed to put a cat into a box, set fire to it, and push it over like the lake near where I live?
I don't think so. I'm pretty sure you couldn't do that.
Can't do that.
I don't think you could. No.
Let me make a phone call.
Yeah. But anyway, sorry your cat's dead there,
Rest
Joe.
in peace, Poppy.
Rest in peace, Poppy.
Lest we forget.
And may Poppy enjoy many fine hunts in the afterlife. Well, where else to begin, of course, than with Wolves 2, 1 Liverpool. What a shocking result that was from last night. Right, Steve, Liverpool suffered the biggest indignity of an already abject season on Tuesday evening, losing to bottom-of-the-table side Wolves. Rodrigo Gomez, of course, gave Wolves the lead in 78 minutes as Liverpool were chasing a goal themselves. Mo Salah scored in the Premier League after a 10-game drought. I think he hasn't scored since November, has he, for them? Obviously,
Indeed.
He was away in January for Africa Cup of Nations, but that's a long old drought, his longest in the Premier League. That was an equaliser, but careless passing out from the back right, Steve saw Andre Gomez score a 94th minute winner for the boys in old gold. It's kind of, in some ways, Wolves are pretty much already relegated, JJ. In fact, I heard earlier that Opta's supercomputer gave them a 100% chance of relegation. It must be 99 point, round up, because I think this is not mathematically certain.
Well, we know we can't trust the robots.
Absolutely, we know that for sure. Maybe this one, though. This one's...
I don't think we can trust any of them.
No, I agree. You've heard it here first. JJ Bull says you cannot trust Opta's supercomputer.
Any robots.
Any robot. But what I will say is that even though they are almost certainly relegated already, it's kind of quite a nice story for manager Rob Edwards, isn't it? Who got, I remember, quite a lot of shit for leaving Middlesbrough in November, going to join the team that he has supported. And they only had 2 points when he joined on the 12th of November, and they have 16 now. That's a lot more than 2. 2 wins in a row. They beat Aston Villa the other day as well. Are you happy for him?
I am happy for him. I think it's nice. They have some decent players, as every team in that league does. So I thought they would pick up far more. There was no way they were as bad as the Derby team that got, 11?
There was 11, yeah.
It's nice that he supports them as well. Obviously, there was a controversy because Middlesbrough missed out on their man. They look good for promotion, but they've turned into one of the new hipsters' favourites.
Middlesbrough.
Yeah, I tried to watch them the other night even because I heard big things.
How far did you get?
I watched half of it.
Too old to be a hipster.
First half.
That's it. You've aged out of hipsterdom.
I don't think you can age out of it.
I think you can.
I don't know.
I think some people think you can't, but I think most people think
what do you become
can.
if you still do the same things you did? Hipster?
Stayed, I think.
Stayed?
I think, yeah, sort of. I'm trying to think of a kind of word. Stayed. You know, the kind of people that,
Nothing less cool than somebody clinging on to their hipster years.
Peter Pan syndrome.
Peter Pan syndrome. There you go. The old J.M. Barrie. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but then that's a strange book, really, when you think of what Peter Pan is.
It's pretty odd, yeah.
Yeah.
Pretty odd. What about Wolves, though? Were they good for it last night? You watched them against Liverpool.
I watched them against Liverpool. That game was awful.
I heard it was pretty boring until the first goal.
Every game last night when we recorded this, it was dreadful to watch.
There was one chance from the first half in the highlights package on YouTube. 23 seconds into the highlights package, it goes, whoa, second half.
Just so boring. Just two teams cancelling each other out.
Yeah.
I've read all the Liverpool players that have been interviewed have said that they didn't start well enough, they didn't have enough energy, and that's kind of what you saw. But I think this is what keeps happening in the league at the moment is teams are cancelling each other out by marking each other really well. So no one wants to take a risk. No one's able to dribble it past anyone because everyone's too fast, so you can't outrun someone. No one wants to make the pass that's going to open it up because then you get shouted at and you end up conceding.
Which is, I guess, how they lost the game.
Well, the last goal is Curtis Jones plays a it's a really bad pass.
Right.
And then Alisson plays an even worse clearance. But I would blame, I don't want to blame, well, it's Jones' fault.
Who
really.
would you blame? Who's to blame?
Society, I think.
Yeah, fair enough.
Probably.
Yeah.
The robots.
There is a case that Chiesa and Rio and Gamoa could have done more to close down the Wolves player who took the shot in the end.
I think a lot of stuff goes wrong after the Jones pass. I know Jones is catching a lot of flack on Twitter for this, but I think Jones, he sets up. He can't have known that Alisson was going to skew his clearance that badly.
No, of course not.
So I think, I don't know, I've got sympathy with Curtis Jones on this one. I think.
Who do you blame, Jack?
Not Curtis Jones.
No, okay.
I'd say it's a combination of that Alisson kick and then like a series of other bad bits of defending that happened afterwards.
Yeah.
But when you're set up to be, like, when you're so automated and so structured, and when one thing goes wrong, it's like, oh no, what's going on now? I need to be able to, you can't work out what to do in that moment because you're not prepared for it. So that's when things happen. That's when no one takes the risks. So if you don't have any dice rolling, if you just make it, it's always going to be a 3, always a 4, then there's no worry about it. And so, yeah, that's what happens with it. I think it was good that Wolves scored the winner.
Sure.
It's very funny. The game, like I said, was so boring until the final 10, 12 minutes, and then it was ace.
Yeah.
It was just end to end. Was it Arne Slot came out and said that he doesn't enjoy the Premier League anymore?
Did he say that? Did he say that afterwards?
Because he's not really enjoying it anymore.
Oh, wow.
It's not fun to watch. I agree. I've been saying that for ages.
I really respect him for saying that.
Yeah.
I think I feel like too many managers stick up for the product.
Got it.
And also too many managers in press conferences, all they think about is like, how do I defend my position? How do I defend my team?
Yeah.
and not enough of them speak from the heart as football fans.
Well, here's what he said, actually, before you guys continue talking. Here's what he said. First of all, you have to accept it, he said. Do I like it? Well, my football heart doesn't like it. If you ask me, thinking about football, I think about the Barcelona team from 10 to 15 years ago. Now, most of the games I see in the Premier League are not, for me, a joy to watch, but it's always interesting because it's so competitive. Everyone can win against everyone. But just as someone who loves to watch football without being interested in who is winning or losing, just to be annoyed, I think there's a big difference.
Just to be enjoyed.
Oh, just to be enjoyed, sorry. Well, it's interesting that I read annoyed, isn't it?
It's fascinating.
It's very fascinating. I think there's a big difference between now and 3 or 4 years ago in the Premier League. Sorry, Jack.
I think we need more of this. I think we need more managers speaking from the heart about football and just kind of standing up for football. I feel like a lot of managers, like the nature of football is that people get so trapped in this box of like defending themselves and saving face and stuff. It's actually good to have somebody in a role that big with such a big platform talking up for the game itself.
Yeah. No, I think that's fair. I mean, obviously, even Mikel Arteta sort of talked about this after the game on Sunday.
I was going to say this.
He made kind of a comment about it. Well, I can't remember exactly what
he is basically going, the reason that Arsenal are playing the way they are is because that's the way you have to play. That's what the meta has become. It's the phrase we keep using in the office.
Yeah.
But like you have to be good at set pieces now because everyone's marking man to man. There's no real space. And because it's not that the ceiling's got higher in the Premier League, it's that the floor has been raised so high. So everyone's really good. Like everyone is so fast. Everyone is so strong. And like every single duel is like a battle you have to win. And so when one thing goes wrong, it's why nothing happens anymore. Everyone's so good and so rivaled. You can't outrun anyone. I saw there was some stat yesterday. The commentator said that one of the Wolves players is like the fastest in the league or something like that. It's like 37 miles an hour or something. Obviously not that, but maybe it could.
He's like a T-Rex.
Yeah, exactly.
We clocked the T-Rex at 35 miles an hour.
Exactly.
Actually, I think it's Richard Attenborough that says that in an English accent. I don't know.
Yeah, some Dickie Attenborough. Yeah.
Alas, never mind.
That's when he goes into Velociraptors afterwards, and then he goes,
right. Yeah.
God, Velociraptors.
Yeah. Clever girl.
Yeah, exactly. Well,
that was the Hunter, not Dickie Attenborough. I've watched Jurassic Park a lot.
No, I know. We've moved on. We've
already gone on.
Steve, how dare you? What were we saying anyway?
Something about T-Rex has been fast. Oh yeah, this guy is faster than a T-Rex.
Oh yeah.
And so I'm like, well, that would probably be good if he played in the Netherlands or something.
Right.
Which is where Arne Slot said he likes watching football still.
Sure.
Because then there's players who will not be as fast as him that he can zoom past. But now everyone's the same. And so it's kind of the same.
Yeah. I think I was talking to John about this last night. And in fact, we touched on this a little bit on Monday's show as well. I think I sort of agree with everything that's being said. I don't enjoy watching this football as much as other types. And that's not to say that it will continue to be like this forever. I'm sure it will evolve and adapt on.
And I still want to watch the big games because it's still exciting.
That's true, absolutely.
The jeopardy and the stakes still make it entertaining.
Yeah, they can do. But then I think John's fear, as he explained it, is that let's say we'll sit through this era and wait for teams to kind of work out special ways to counter this and move on and wait for the game to evolve into something else. I think his specific fear is that. And unless there's some kind of rule change, which for the record, he's not saying there should or shouldn't be, that probably the only way that we kind of optimize further is into more set pieces. And if you can score goals in the way that Arsenal do with set pieces, and you don't really, you're also optimizing towards that makes it harder to play in open play, then that sort of feels like that might not quite be in the spirit of football. Like if you're forcing everything into set plays, it feels like it becomes a little bit more like an American sport. For
I was going to say it sounds like an American sport,
and a little bit less like what most people like about football.
Yeah, and also because the league has become the NBA.
Sure.
So it is the Super League, really, is what you've got in England now. So all of that makes absolute sense.
It's also worth saying, and this is more of a personal thing. Since we did Monday's show, I've just been inundated with messages specifically from Arsenal fans who make the complaint. As soon people complained for years and years that Arsenal weren't strong enough in the tackle and didn't have enough guile, and now they have it, or they would want to change the rules and take it away. I understand why fans feel that that's unfair. I don't care who's winning. I'm literally uninterested that it's Arsenal who are doing this. I've watched so many Premier League games recently where specifically what happens at corners I find it's just appalling. And I think Arsenal are the best at that and therefore are winning and totally should, right? They should win the league on the basis of being the best at this thing. It's a rule change I'm interested in.
It's almost like it's elite mid-table football.
Sure.
So it's just because I used to always hate when the game would have to cover would be I mean, when I say hate, I mean within reason. But if it's someone like the old Aston Villa versus the old Everton, like, oh, this is going to be two people smashing in the middle.
Classic Barclays Fair, though.
Yeah, just nothing happens. Like, oh, this is not. I don't want to watch this. I want to watch the pretty passes and
Sure.
like, the lovely dribbles and stuff like that. I know it's so negative. And
Well, some people say it's subjective.
In this conversation, I am quite aware of the fact that people always nostalgize for the football that happened 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like the mid 2010s were fun. I enjoyed them, but like the Jose Mourinho's Chelsea team that won the league in 14-15 weren't amazing to watch.
Sure.
They just
They were horrible, yeah.
defend and give the ball to Hazard.
But the other day, there was a clip doing the rounds on social media, which was, do you remember that absolutely brilliant City-Liverpool game in kind of Jan-Feb 2019, the one that City won 2-1, John Stones clear off the line, and that was, the two best teams of the 21st century. Basically.
It's kind of now widely considered the best Premier League game of all time.
Yeah, between the two best teams of the modern era. But what people put a clip on was corners in that game. And there's no silliness at all. There's no kind of meat wall, as it's now called, whatsoever. Like, it's literally just like the ball comes in and then all the different guys try and head it without any of the grappling.
Yeah.
And I watched it and I thought, well, and this is obviously before the penny dropped and before people realised, we can push the boundary here. We can take advantage of the lax refereeing and just turn this into a scrum.
Sure.
And when I watched it, I thought, we can get back to this. There's no reason. All they have to do is change the laws,
or enforce the laws, right? Because the point is, they did change the laws at the beginning of the season, and then nothing really changed. There's not been that many penalties given for
this. Is kind of why I think the panic about the style is slightly overblown, because it will inevitably change. And like, just because everybody's playing a certain way, I know you kind of have to respond to your opponent and everything, but it doesn't mean you have to copy them. Like,
no. And
those freakishly good super teams were like, outliers.
Absolutely, yeah.
But if referees started giving, in the last 3 weeks alone, there could have been 5-6 penalties for.
Yeah.
If they just start giving them, maybe they'll stop doing them.
Totally.
I understand it's difficult to implement that midway through a season, and I understand you spoke about this in quite a lot of depth on Monday.
We didn't really get to this point specifically. And look, the last thing I'll say anyway is I think looking back in time, looking at these bigger games from 5 years ago, is a good point to make, because the comparison that some fans today might make is what about Manchester City with tactical fouls, for example, or what about Mourinho parking the bus, or any example of a historical team.
Even that Barcelona team that was amazing had boring games.
Of course, they had boring games. The specific problem here is that the optimization that teams are getting so efficient at is set pieces. It stops the game. It's boring. It's not interesting to watch, and it's there are ways and means of trying to find advantages in open play. I think tactical fouls is maybe the closest argument you could make, because you're gaining an advantage by having so many players forward without having to worry too much about rest defense, because you're going to take a tactical foul. The difference is how many yellow cards did we see Fernandinho get? He was pretty good at avoiding them. But the players take a yellow card for a tactical foul. You can make an argument about whether the trade-off there is okay. Is it okay that they're getting all this attacking advantage without having to worry about the defensive side of it, and the exchange is just a yellow card? Maybe, maybe not. But the problem at corners is we're not seeing any yellow cards for holding. We're not seeing anything. We're seeing goals being given for something that most people think should be against, or is against the rules, and just isn't being enforced.
You know how you said John's greatest fear was that his greatest fear was that the teams would all become like this.
Yeah.
Mine is the meat wall.
Right. Yeah.
So that was a phrase. I think that came from Michael Cayley. I hope I haven't misattributed it.
Sure.
But it's I think it's a really good way of understanding, or really good way of thinking about how ugly that element of modern football is. I don't think people should be afraid of saying it's ugly and they don't like watching it. It's ultimately it's a spectator sport, right?
And it's also cynical and
crucially, the meat wall is different to the love train. Yeah. I know Sebastian Stafford-Bloor made an awful comparison on Monday's show, comparing England's tactics at the 2018 World Cup to the shocking crimes against humanity that we see Arsenal commit now. 3 players on the same team standing behind one another and then running off in different directions to score headers is not the same thing.
I actually think England are partly responsible for the state of all this football, because that worked really well in that World Cup and the other things as well.
England is partly responsible for the state of ... is a great opening line, and I feel you could say it in almost any conversation.
I guess so, yeah. Well, in the context of just football, that England team with Southgate and that, doing all the love train and all the.
It was that.
They were awful.
It was that tournament.
They were so boring. They were so boring.
Really, that's international football, and we all agree the rules are different there.
Yeah. Well, the last thing I want to say on this whole thing is that, Reuben's dead right, it will be cyclical, like it always is. The natural response to people who play 4-4-2s is to go to a 3, and Serie A already did this whole man marking thing to death. They did it in the 60s with Catenaccio. They also did it, I think it was not too long ago, when everyone's going man to man and it slowed everything down. Mm-hmm. And the way you pull that apart is with, I can't remember the name of the manager, so I'm not going to go into it, but you just move people around. And
Luis Enrique, right? Look what he's doing with PSG.
Well, that's one example of it, but you can even go full circle back to what Wenger did with Arsenal, where you'd have loads of people close together, so you get nice little bounce passes, and then you can play through them. But I think because now the problem you've got in the Premier League is because everyone is so good, there's just not really a quality differential.
That's true.
So even the very best players, you just can't see what difference it can make.
That's also been a selling point of the Premier League for so long, is that anyone can in theory beat anyone. And now that it's actually kind of true,
we don't like it.
Yeah.
No, I think I agree with everything you're saying. I think the only counter I would have to what you've said there is that I can totally see how teams continue to evolve, iterate against new things that come out. And that's the perfect example. Like, have a bunch of players that rotate positions like PSG do, except all of those players that are more technical and smaller and have a lower center of gravity get on corners and lose. And if a team like Arsenal isn't really interested in winning an open play and is only interested in forcing corners and has experts, then you can't iterate against that in open play.
It's kind of where I was trying to get to with saying they're all so good, because it's the thing that you have to have big lads then to be able to compete.
You need big lads.
So you can't
need
have
Victor Wembanyama in every single position on a football pitch.
Well, it is kind of true, and that is part of the problem. And then I think if I was a small, nippy player, I'd want to go and play anywhere else. The money's in England, right? So that's where the money would be.
Sure.
Also, the weather's awful. It's not a great place really to live, apart from London. And so why would you go there rather than anywhere else? He's
not wrong.
Yeah, it's why would you live there? It's because it's the Premier League.
It's a shame York doesn't
Imagine
have a
England didn't have the Premier League. Do you think people would want to live here as much?
Not footballers.
Not footballers. No.
Not footballers.
Well,
there was a long period of time when they all went to Real Madrid and Barcelona instead, didn't they? And now
that's true.
Only a few of them do that.
Yeah.
Anyway, Rob Edwards is good, isn't he? Good. Well done, Rob Edwards.
Liverpool missed Florian Wirtz. That was a big takeaway from that game, I thought.
Well, indeed, I think they did. Right, we've sort of well done to Wolves. See you in the Championship. Oh,
no, they're going to stay up.
We were going to quickly talk about the fact that actually, whilst we think they probably are relegated, although JJ doesn't.
Have you seen their fixture list?
This is exactly what I'm coming to. While maybe we think they're down already, they do still play a large role in the relegation battle, don't they? Because their fixture list, JJ, includes teams such as
West Ham.
Yeah. Who were in it?
Yeah, Sunderland.
No, they're not really in it. But,
Leeds.
They're not really in it. I'll get in trouble if I say they are.
They're still in it.
No, don't say that, Reuben. We'll get in trouble.
I think they've got Fulham, who they'll lose to, but that's the only team I think that will that they won't beat.
You think Wolves are going to beat all these other teams?
But they've got a bit of momentum, and there's so much. It makes sense. These things happen.
Don't curse them.
No, I'm not. All my other predictions have started to come true now. I'm not
Burnley away last day.
Burnley, yeah.
Oh, that's going to be a big old game. Is that the derby for 19th? That one, isn't it? Who wants to finish bottom?
Realistically, they'll both be relegated at that point.
Do you think?
It'll
by the way,
two bald men fighting over a comb.
If Wolves, did you hear the show the other day when Colin Miller was on? He gave some of his warm thoughts. One of which was that Scott Parker's done a good job at Burnley. Do you think if Burnley dropped to 20th, that we'll have to have Colin retrieve his warm thoughts?
No, I think that's a good thought.
Still fair?
He got them promoted on a budget. He got them promoted having sold tons of players.
Colin's argument was that their squad is far worse than any other, and that they've done what they should be expected to do.
Yeah, he's a kind of promotion specialist. I think he's done pretty well. Really.
Sure. Okay.
Remember, it used to be 40 points is what you need to stay up. It used to be what the number is.
Sure. It's going to be 35.
It's normally lower these days, isn't it?
It has been for the last couple, but last season it was only because the promoted teams did so poorly. This season you would expect it to be higher. Anyway, there we go. It'd be interesting to see Wolves in the Championship next season, although we do anticipate that some of their players will probably leave, But hey, good luck and well done to Rob Edwards.
The Gomezes.
The Gomezes.
The Gomai.
All four of them, yeah.
Steve, also, is there any remaining on Liverpool that you would like us to touch on?
I was just going to say Tottenham are the other team that Wolves play of some consequence in the relegation battle,
really?
Of course.
How about that? That's a big one as well, isn't it?
It is.
God, Spurs got some big games coming up.
What was the score when they played at Spurs this season?
So it was an interesting game. It was a 1-1 draw in which Spurs were pretty bad and Wolves were good. And then Polinia scored like a 93rd, 94th minute equaliser to rescue a point for Spurs. But it's one of those games you come away from it thinking, well, firstly, like Spurs aren't good. Like Thomas Frank Spurs are not really going anywhere.
This was really early on.
They're definitely going somewhere.
But also I came away thinking Wolves actually look fine. Like they played, obviously Pereira was still the manager at that point. I think they switched to about 3 at half time, something like that. And they've got quite a few good individual players. They've never been as bad as they looked. I think they were.
They just can't score.
This was so early on in the season, this game, that you don't want to like jump to the absolute conclusion.
Totally.
Right.
Exactly.
But it has become quite prophetic, I guess, in how this season
massively.
I've said this so many times on this show now that it's boring, but I watched the Wolves opening game of the season with against Man City, at which they lost something like 4-0, I don't know. But they were the much better team for big chunks of that game.
I remember that, yeah.
And I remember thinking like, oh, if only they could score, they'll be completely fine. And then they didn't win a game for like 20 games or something because they can't fucking score.
Then they sold their big striker and they can hold the ball up and got tiny Adam Armstrong in.
And suddenly they're scoring. Incredible.
Did you watch this in Liverpool? Because there's one thing I think that they should definitely be doing, and that is starting the young lad in Gamoa. He is unbelievably good.
I don't really know much about him. Tell me about him.
Oh my God, he's so good. The way he moves with the ball, he's the kind of player I want to see in these massive lad games. He just drifts in between them, pings it about. His close control is amazing.
Do you remember when Liverpool won at St James's Park earlier on in the season? Really late, 3-2. He came on and scored the winner there.
Is he in for Wirtz at the moment? Is that why he's playing?
No, he comes on late because he's very young.
Right.
He's only like 17, something like that. He does far more in every game I see him in about the last 10 minutes than, honestly, Mo Salah has done all season.
Or Cody Gakpo, right, who's come in for a lot of stick playing on the left wing and somehow managed to miss. Did you see this chance that he missed?
I did. It was a bit. He
like
took it off the chest of
Curtis Jones and managed to flick it backwards, and then Kirkez was too close to the goal line and it went behind him. Yeah. It reminded me of that Choupo-Moting chance for PSG when he stopped a definite goal. It was like unfathomable how that didn't go in. Sorry to interrupt. I agree. And Gamoa should play more. Yeah,
it's because he's young, right? So you want to look after him. You don't want to overplay these young players and just let him develop a little bit. He'll grow a bit more as well. Yeah. But he is a game-changing player. He's one of the very rare special ones where you watch him and straight away I'm like, yeah, he's magic.
Got it.
Like you can tell instantly. I like Chiesa. I think he's all right.
Let me ask you a question. Arne Slot. I mean, we talked about him previously in this vein. They just lost to Wolves. I know Wolves are on the up. That's all good, but it's been a bad season. It doesn't look like Liverpool are, they're less and less likely to finish in the top 4. Surely he's going in the summer, isn't he?
Well, if he doesn't like the Premier League, just let him go.
Does a manager
take him to the woods?
Does a manager who thinks he's surviving in that job say, I know, Jack, you made the point earlier that it's nice you want to hear more of that from managers, but do you think there's a certain freedom to Arne Slot because he maybe assumes he's not keeping the job?
I think there's been 1 or 2 things that he said where
I agree.
I've thought, wow, that's a really candid thing to say. So there was the bit where, I forgot what it was. I think the context was he was saying something like, well, 2 years ago, we were getting knocked out of the Europa League by Atalanta, I think it was.
Yeah.
Obvious implication of that comment is we used to be rubbish and then I made us good.
Right.
Which is kind of a strange thing to say given how good Liverpool were consistently under Jurgen Klopp.
Yeah.
But when I heard him say that, I thought, that actually does sound like a manager who is like trying to save face through the media, basically, who is trying to kind of remind everyone, I've actually not done a bad job here. Yeah. I don't know. I reckon
he's setting the narrative.
He's done that quite a few times this season, like back-to-back weeks where fans have gone, don't say that.
Yeah. And fair enough, right? Because are we really saying that if he does lose his job in the summer and they replace him with another coach, are we looking at this Liverpool era and saying, well, that was definitely Arne Slot's fault? Or are we saying, well, they spent loads of money on massive players and pushed them all together, expected the coach to make it work, and it didn't immediately.
He pointed out that they spent all that money, but it was just to replace players. They weren't really improving the team. Which
also, they've had to recalibrate the whole team, right? Because the whole team last season was, here's a platform to make Salah, to make the most of Salah.
With Trent.
Right, exactly, yeah. And Trent was an integral part of that platform. It was all, the thing that's always reminded me of Liverpool last season was Scaloni's Argentina, right? It's a platform for your one megastar player, and everything is calibrated around get him the ball in dangerous positions where he can hurt the opposition.
Yeah.
And now but the problem is, with everything that happened in the summer, all of a sudden you don't have, it's like that platform doesn't exist anymore. And you've spent hundreds of millions of pounds on guys who don't want to be a platform for Salah. Isak, Ekitike, Wirtz, they want to be the main guy, right? Because if you get bought for a huge amount of money, you don't want to show up to help somebody else. You want to be the main man. And so that is such a profound transformation in what the team, how the team is meant to function. And he's trying to oversee it. And clearly, they've had this issue of, like Salah still being there is tough, right? And maybe it would have been better if they let him go, perhaps. Maybe that's just hindsight.
But politically at the time, it was
exactly. Yeah, at the
to
time,
do
they couldn't have not given him that contract. But the Salah stuff has been, it's been difficult for him to find the right role for Salah.
Yeah.
There's definitely a good team there with Ekitike and Wits. I'm still not really sure about Ekitike and Wits and Isak, but whatever.
Weirdly, the cheapest of those three has been the best.
Yeah. They could have just
love
signed Ekitike. Like, Ekitike is so good.
He's great.
He's amazing. He's such a natural. I love watching him.
Yeah. Well, anyway, they clocked the T-Rex at 32 miles an hour.
To 32.
In Jurassic Park, it was 32. So as Steve notes, above the speed limit on most UK roads, not quite 37. This reminds me also, I went to visit my mother recently, and she lives in Wales. And the main thing we talked about the whole weekend was how annoyed she was that it was 20 miles an hour speed limit on the roads now. It's pretty slow when you're driving 20 miles an hour.
I was going to say, don't you get a 10% margin of error? Which
that's what people say. I don't know if that's true.
It's only 2 miles.
Yeah, I know, but I assumed it was 30.
Right.
But lots of roads in London have
Like
gone from 30s
They're
to
20,
20s in the last 2 years.
Which is why I'm so used to it, I think, because driving around in London, it's like
I find like I am incredible. Like when I'm driving around London, I am very, very used to like going at 15 all the time, and that's fine. The challenging thing is if you've gone out of London, you've been on the motorway, you come back into London, and then suddenly you come off a main road, you're doing 20 through the suburbs, and you think, wow, this is so slow.
It feels really slow, doesn't it? Yeah. Anyway, there you go.
Also, maybe shouldn't take Reuben's interpretation of speed limits.
10% extra is 30 miles an hour.
If you do
that's a legal thing.
I doubt it is a legal thing.
Yes.
It's probably a sort of a nudge, nudge, wink, wink thing, anyway. But speed limits are there for a reason, listeners. You should obey them.
I've also never driven a car, so another reason
I was going
not
to
to
say.
take
Me neither. Who needs to drive a
Soon
car?
the robots will do it for us.
Exactly,
They
and
already
until
are.
then, other humans will. It's fine. I got a taxi to work this morning. Well, there we go. Good luck to Wolves and Liverpool and all the different teams there. We'll be back in just a moment after this advertisement break with a little bit of Rondo. Okay, we're back. It's time to play the Rondo. Now,
do it properly.
You want me to roll? It's time to play the Rondo to
go.
find out who will be named Rondo Del Rey or Ray Del Rondo. Who knows? We can't remember which way around it is.
Rondo Del Rey.
Rondo Del Rey.
Like it. I like it.
Yes, we've decided that Ray Del Rondo sounds too much like an Only Fools and Horses character.
Exactly.
That's
yeah.
right.
Rondo Del Rey could be Lana's brother.
Oh, that's true. I
Yes.
forgot about Lana Del Rey. That's right. How about that? Now, who wants to be named Rondo Del Rey? Hands up if it's you. JJ?
That means you win.
Yeah, you win.
Yes.
There you go. Just double checking. Right. Here's how the Rondo works. I give you a category that has multiple answers. We go round in a circle. You each name correct answers to continue. If you take too long, and how long is judged by me, or if you give an incorrect answer, you are out of the game. The last person standing is named Rondo Del Rey. Del Rey Rondo. Rondo Del Rey. And currently, because we didn't have a winner on Monday's show, it's still Kaya.
Still Kaya.
From a week ago or so. So there's a lot to play for here today to take away the crown. Now, today's category is Premier League managers. Don't look at my computer, Reuben.
I'm looking intentionally away from it.
Don't look at it. Premier League managers who've managed over 300 games in the Premier League. There are 19 correct answers to this question. JJ, we will start with you.
So Alex Ferguson.
Alex Ferguson, of course, is in there.
Arsene Wenger.
Yeah, Arsene Wenger's number 1, actually. Reuben.
Jose Mourinho.
Jose Mourinho is number 10. JJ?
David Moyes.
David Moyes is number 3. Jack?
Pep Guardiola.
Pep Guardiola, number 9. Reuben?
Would he be there? Tony Pulis.
Tony Pulis is there, number 17. 323 games, not far off. JJ?
Sam Allardyce.
Sam Allardyce is there, number 5. Obviously, he's got 542 games played. Jack?
Mark Hughes.
Mark Hughes is there, number 7.
Can I go Harry Redknapp?
Harry Redknapp, you can have number 4, actually. Yeah.
Well,
It's over 300, he said.
Over 300 appearances.
Jurgen Klopp.
Jurgen Klopp is there. 334 appearances in at number 15.
I wasn't
Jack?
sure about him.
Martin O'Neill.
Martin O'Neill is there, number 13. Reuben? Oh, this is fun. This is a fun one.
No, it's not. Not anymore. God. Neil Warnock.
Neil Warnock is not there. Reuben's out of the game.
Career-wise, I think he's over 1,000, but they're all in the championship.
I think that most of them would be, yeah. Okay, JJ, we are over to you. Now remember, there's a time limit here, and you don't know exactly what it is. So, can you pick up Rondo Del Rey? How much do you want that glory, sir?
Oh, it's so much. I think I'm going to go for... I'll just go with it. This is going to be me out. Kevin Keegan.
Kevin Keegan is not there. Okay, Jack, in order to be named Rondo Del Rey, we need one more correct answer from you. Okay, have you got it?
Mick McCarthy.
Mick McCarthy is not there. He's not there.
Can we all come back in now?
No, Kaya retains the Rondo Del Rey. Oh, God, he can continue to hold on to this forever. Wow. Now, here's names you could have had. Of course, I'll start from the bottom up. In at number 19, the fewest appearances over 300, Brendan Rodgers. You could have had 312.
I was going to say Kenny Dalglish. Is he one?
No. You could have, of course, had Alan Pardew, 320. You could have had Alan Kirbishley, the other Alan, in there. Sean Dyche, of course, 351 appearances.
Yeah. Kirbishley was the one who was in my head, and then he was in my head, and he went out of my head, and I had to fill that space in my head with Mick McCarthy.
And you filled it with Mick. Rafael Benitez. Yeah, you could have had Rafa. Eddie Howe, of course. You could have had. I guess he's just been there long enough at those two teams.
About 10 years on the dot, I think.
Roy Hodgson, I'm surprised you didn't name.
Oh, I thought he'd said.
He's been gone a very, very long time now, so I've forgotten about him.
I think he's very high on the list of like football managers managed games overall. He's got over 1,000.
He's just really old, isn't he? Yeah.
And of course, in at number 6, how could we forget Steve Bruce? Steve Bruce with 476 Premier League games managed.
So that would be
sickening.
Newcastle, Birmingham. Who else did he manage?
Palace in the Premier League?
Villa for a bit, but maybe in the Championship. Palace briefly, yeah. Hull, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean...
What a career.
His entire career also includes Wigan, Sunderland, Hull, Villa, Sheffield Wednesday, Newcastle, West Bromwich Albion,
one of the all-time greats.
It really hurts.
It does hurt, doesn't it? Yeah.
Really
hurts. I can't believe I didn't get Pardew or Hodgson.
Rondo Del Rey. How about that? There we go. We'll have to wait until next episode to see if anyone can claim Kaya's Rondo Del Rey. How about that?
Long may he reign. Long
may he reign, indeed. Now, let's go and talk about people who almost certainly aren't enjoying themselves. Of course, I'm referring to Tottenham Hotspur. This is the only upcoming game that we can discuss because of the time that we're recording our podcast. They play Thursday night, so hopefully tonight when people are listening to this show. That's the... sorry, I've kind of ad-libbed what Steve wrote, and then I've read in at the wrong point, and then I will write, Steve says... Will the Eagles swoop down, right, Steve, and claw at the cockerel of North London? I certainly hope not. Sending them spiralling further towards the relegation zone. Steve, little feedback there. I feel as though you started so strong that maybe there's a way of tying in the animal theme again towards the end when it was spiraling further
I was thinking about
towards the
happened.
abattoir. The abattoir. Or to
a death spiral.
Yes, a death spiral because of a bird.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. Fair.
Eagles, do they do death spirals, Eagles? Do they?
There are certain eagles, I think, that like spin down from a great height and get up to a ridiculous speed so much that their brain...
great height!
But that's attacking, not you know...
We used to have a real live eagle at Selhurst Park, flying from crossbar to crossbar.
What was it called?
Kayla.
Kayla?
Yeah.
Still there?
Died in 2020.
Died.
Of gout.
Gout.
That's good. Too much red wine. There was a hawk or an eagle at Aberdeen to get rid of the seagulls.
What happened to that one?
It became the king.
Right, yeah. Do you know, didn't I say this already? Maybe I don't have that many anecdotes, and this isn't even one of mine. But I was watching the David Attenborough London episode, you know, the special, but I didn't realise that there are wild peregrine falcons living in London. Do you know that?
Did not know that.
The fastest bird of prey alive. Wow. And I knew that there was some around because I knew that some companies use them, as you just said, to keep pigeons away or whatever.
Yeah.
No, they're wild. They live in the building. They live in the skyscrapers. They mate.
But you'd never see them because they're so fast.
No, you never see them because they're so fast.
That's
absolutely
cool.
incredible.
What else does he look at? The fights between rats on the underground.
Do you know what? I didn't want to watch it because I thought exactly I was cynical like you. And my wife said, I want to watch it. I want to watch. I was like, her indoors, you know, old ball and chain.
Joe Devine in his natural habitat buying a tuna melt
trumpet.
It's not a tuna melt.
No, I know. It's a tuna crunch baguette.
It's not a crunch. Why does everyone think it's a crunch?
Crunch wrap.
It's not a crunch.
What is it? It's a tuna.
It's a pole line caught tuna and cucumber baguette. Okay. That's all it is. There's no crunch involved. I mean, there's a little bit of crunching.
Irrelevant to the quality of the impression, but okay.
The point is that it was actually... It's terrific. It's such a good episode. It's so worth watching. They talk about hedgehog highways. Wonderful. They're following beautiful foxes around. There's an incredible dramatized scene at Hyde Park Serpentine, the lake, where there is a new pigeon in town that doesn't know how things go around here. Oh. And a seagull tries to fucking drown it. It's incredible.
It's like gang warfare, like turf war.
Yeah. And the humans are just sitting around reading books, eating ice creams. Meanwhile, there's a pigeon being drowned to death in the Serpentine. It's horrible. Horrible, vicious London.
Do they go into the sewer and then discover like adolescent...
The Rat King?
No. No, there's
Splinter.
There's some sort of vermin that has developed ninja skills.
In the sewer?
Yeah, and it looks after... some adolescent amphibians.
For some reason, even though I've known you for a long time, I genuinely took that seriously until the very last minute.
I'm dead serious.
Yeah, of course. Anyway, speaking of the sewers, it's pretty stinky down Tottenham Hotspur way, isn't it, Jack? We talked about the Eagles swooping there. You've written this week about how Spurs have simply forgotten how to win. It has been so long. Do you think it's possible that they won't win? I've got Eagles on the brain. Win another game in the Premier League. I mean, they've got some big, giant, massive fixtures coming up.
I think it's unlikely that they won't win another game. I think that... So I was at Fulham on Sunday where they lost 2-1, and Fulham was so much better than them, particularly for like the first hour.
That was the easiest game to predict of all time.
Yeah, and I just worried watching Tottenham that their players seem to have lost so much confidence that I think if they can win a game, they will be like, oh yeah, winning football matches. This is like what we're paid to do. This is what we've done our whole professional lives. It's not that hard.
And they don't need that much, right? Like
no, they don't. They need like 3 wins.
29 points. I think even if they get one win and a couple of draws, they'll probably be okay.
I think like there's definitely like a visible path to being okay, to safety.
Yeah.
But I look at them and I think they have a big mental block about winning because they haven't won a league game since the 28th of December last year.
Against Palace,
which was a terrible game, like an unwatchable game where Archie Gray bunted in the corner.
I brought my family to that. They did not have fun.
And they've got like 4 points in 10 games since then. They've got something like 12 points in their last 19 Premier League games.
Yeah.
And I just think confidence has eroded to the point they've sort of forgotten how to win a football match.
And it seems as though they've brought in Igor Tudor to try and remember. I was listening to various other journalists and media discussing this morning the possibility that maybe he won't even be there. If they lose another couple of games. Have you heard anything about this?
Yes, I mean, like this is a rumor. I think that I don't know. I'd be surprised. I'd be surprised if they made a change just because he is
the change.
Yeah, like he's the guy they brought in, and I think you've got to sort of go all in when you bring in a new manager. But at the moment, and like I said, if he can just win a game, if he can just win a game, and in theory, maybe Palace at home shouldn't be so hard. It's not like Palace having a great time at the moment either. Then I think everybody will be like, oh yeah, this is what it's like. This is what it's like when you win a football match.
Yeah. But
until that point, it's going to get harder and harder and harder to win that first game.
If they lose to Palace. I mean, they've also got Forest coming up in a couple of weeks, which is that's a massive game. We just mentioned that Wolves still have to play them as well. If they lose to Palace on Thursday night, what do you think the reaction is going to be internally? Like, surely it's panic at that point, isn't it?
I think the vibes will be bad.
Yeah.
They've got a Champions League game coming up. They've got Atletico Madrid in the last 16 of the Champions League.
They will 100% win, of course. Yeah. Of course they will.
And they got Liverpool wedged in between those games.
They got Atletico, Liverpool, Atletico. It's weird. You've got these three games against huge teams. But ultimately, what it really comes down to that Forest home game, just because that's the last game before the international break.
Right.
And so if you have a bad result in that game, you spend 2 weeks stewing on it, like, oh no, I can't believe we had another bad result.
Yeah.
But if you win that game, everybody's happy.
That's true, right? I mean, if you win that game, then you're sort of completely fine.
Yeah, totally. Like, so I think that there's a really plausible situation in which they win this game, and then maybe they beat Forest, and then by the international break, everyone's enjoying their Easter eggs, thinking, what's all the fuss about? What's all the fuss about? It's fine.
There aren't really any signs that they will win games though, right? Because the performances, like statistically and on the eye, are all horrendous. The only thing that makes you think, surely they will, is like just the kind of quality of the individuals that you think eventually must accumulate into a decent performance. But like there's some stats in the script that I can't read because they're hyperlinked that demonstrate that they are like 20th or at least 19th for a lot of like ball progression stats. I think is the main problem, which we flagged this a long time ago. Everyone was aware of it. The Gallagher signing did not fix it, and everyone knew that wouldn't work.
Got it. These are the ones that you shared in the WhatsApp, JJ, aren't they? They were posted on X by Sports Financial Planner or Sports Finance. You posted these ones where Tottenham Hotspur, their attack in 2026, they rank 20th for times dispossessed. So I guess they've been dispossessed the most. That means they're 20th for losses of possession, 19th for unsuccessful touches, 18th for sequences ending in the final third, 19th for big chances created from set plays. I mean, the list kind of goes on and on and on.
This is the result of having a team of runners and no passers.
Yeah,
right?
I think like the worst thing, like one of the many disasters to befall Tottenham this season, which is not their fault, this is just random bad luck, is the fact that their two very good creative midfielders, Kulusevski and Maddison, haven't played a minute this season. Like they both got, I mean, Kulusevski got a bad knee injury at the end of last season. Maddison got one in pre-season. They both had surgery. Neither of them have played. And it means that all the midfielders that they have are like various types of either sixes or runners, but they've got no one who can pass the ball forwards, really. And it's just completely undermined their ability to create proper chances this season, or even to get the ball to Xavi Simons, who's a good player, but they can't really like get him into good position.
Even like Bissouma and Gray are more like dribblers rather than progressive passes.
Yeah. And regardless, it wouldn't matter because you can't create things anymore in the Premier League because all you need is massive lads. Everyone goes man to man. You can't create any differences or separation from anyone. And so it doesn't matter how many passers you've got. You need better players up top. They don't really have those because they're all injured.
Yeah.
They've got two big lads up top at the moment.
Yeah, they've got three
fit
okay,
forwards.
quite good strikers, I think. Like Richarlison, when he's fit, is really good. Well, he's pretty good. Solanke started brilliantly at Tottenham the first half of last season, but he's kind of not really been at the same level since then with various injuries. And then Colomboani, he's been a bad signing. Like he's got one league goal for Spurs.
Yeah.
But when you watch him play, you're like, this guy's actually a good player.
Yeah.
He's not a bad player at all. Like he's got great movement. He's pretty good technically. He's a good athlete. He's got a good eye for goal. Like he should be a good player. But
you bank on those
happened.
players scoring some goals.
Yeah, I think they would have banked on him scoring more than one goal.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, JJ, you've sort of said recently that obviously there's a very real possibility that they do get relegated. I think you think they will, though. Or at least you've said that.
I always like the
risky take.
Funniest thing to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know what law that is, but
I think it's called the fun law.
The fun law.
Yeah.
Obviously, for Spurs fans, that would be horrendous, and they would not like it.
Well, no, not necessarily. I don't know. Uncle Damien, as a Norwich fan, always says that it's more fun to be in the Championship because the away trips are more fun and they win games.
Yeah,
although that hasn't really worked this season.
I don't know. I mean, it's different now, isn't it? Spurs aren't just people supported by people who live in North London. It's supported by people around the world. So it's like supporting a company now.
Sure.
So if that goes down, that's bad. And there's lots of things that will happen. People lose jobs. It's not good.
Sure. Also, as reported, all of that there are a wage cut clauses.
I think a lot of the players would see their salaries reduced. I mean, it would be, I don't know. I would still bet against it happening, but I think that if it did happen, hypothetically, it would be, I think, one of the biggest stories in the Premier League in the 21st century. I mean,
ever, right?
Spurs have got the 9th biggest. UEFA brought out their club finance report last week.
Yeah,
Spurs have got the 9th biggest revenues in European football.
Yeah,
like they built one of the best stadiums in Europe, and they only opened it in 2019.
Who would be to blame?
Well, there's more than enough blame to go around at Spurs. I always find like they've been, the appointment of Thomas Frank was a bad decision. The squad has got worse and worse, certainly in relative to its competitors, if not in absolute terms.
Yeah.
In the last 5 or 6 years, they haven't spent enough money on salaries.
Yeah.
They didn't replace Kane or Son.
I was talking to my friend Nathan the other day, who's from the Extra Inch Spurs podcast.
Oh, legend.
Yeah. He was saying actually, I think they talked about it on their show a couple of weeks ago, but he's pretty convinced that like you can track this all the way back to that summer where they didn't buy Pochettino any more players, and like the squad management has been his claim is like it's been a year behind. That sounds kind of extreme, but when you look at it, they're always really chasing to catch up.
I think the failure to buy anyone in 2018 was really bad because it meant they were always playing catch up, right? And it meant in 2019 they bought Ndombele and Lo Celso and Sessegnon, like 3 good players. but they were coming into a squad that had gone stale. And they were never able to get the right kind of balance of age and experience and hunger and all the rest of it. So that was a big problem. But even the failure to buy anyone in 2018 was itself downstream from not selling the players. Like, when that team was at its peak, I think what Pochettino would have wanted to do is, right, we're at our peak. How do you improve? You sell players to bring in new guys who are hungry and who really want, and who've got the same energy that maybe we used to have 3 years ago. But like, so many of that team stuck around too long. Like, Ericsson, Alderweireld, Dele Alli, Danny Rose, all those guys who hypothetically they could have sold when they were at peak market value, they could have sold them all to, Man United, Chelsea, whoever, Man City, made hundreds of millions of pounds in fees, but they hung on to them all. And then in 3 years' time, they were like, they're all kind of like slightly jaded free agents and you lose tons of money. The squad all goes a bit sour and they've sort of been chasing it ever since, really, and that's a long time ago now.
Kane is also an absolute anomaly that people seem to still forget. Yeah. If they hadn't had him, they could well have been finishing mid-table the entire time.
And Son as well, because he was in the shadow.
Oh, one of the
Kane.
best players ever. Yeah,
that's one of the bizarre things, right, about Tottenham in the last few years is that they had two of the best Premier League strikers of the modern era. And they got Kane through the academy, and they got Son for 20 million from Bayer Leverkusen. Yeah. And I suspect that, like, maybe subconsciously, that maybe convinced some people that, maybe we don't have to go out and spend 100 million to get world-class players. Yeah. Maybe, like, we'll just have world-class players all the time. And so after that point, they never really like went out and got a world-class player. Yeah. And then obviously those two guys left. And then all of a sudden it's like, how do you get a world-class player? What do we do? What
I'm hearing is that, from what you're saying, is that Daniel Levy is to blame.
Well, I mean, I think Daniel Levy made a lot of bad decisions in his last sort of 5 or 6 years at Spurs, not least never really settling on a good football strategy. Like, they had a good strategy when Pochettino was there because it was kind of Pochettino's strategy. But then as soon as they got rid of him for Mourinho, it was, are we trying to be a big club? We're going to get the big club guys in. Yeah. We're going to get Mourinho.
That was quite confusing.
We'll get Conte, but then we won't actually give him like Conte level players. And then we'll go back to Tottenham football with Ange, and then we'll go back in the other direction with Thomas Frank.
Don't forget about Nuno.
Yeah, so there were a lot of bad decisions along the way, although equally, I don't think it's just Daniel Levy because, he was obviously like an employee of the Lewis family.
Sure.
And it's not like he had hundreds and hundreds of millions of pounds to spend that he was simply choosing to not spend. It's a slightly more complicated situation than that.
Fair.
And there's been lots of other like mistakes along the way, particularly. So I say it's not just a case of Daniel Levy.
No. Okay, fair enough. Well, let's be excited to see what happens in that game. That's a strange sentence, isn't it? Let's be excited to see what happens in that Crystal Palace game.
You can't tell me what to do.
I'm sure some people listening will have already seen that game as well. So I'll be curious to listen back to this section after we know the result.
I'm also not excited to watch it.
No,
it's going to be horrendous.
That's good because Steve cut the bit where I was going to ask you. Thanks, Steve. Steve's desperate for us to talk about
Lacroix's
Everton.
Red was a sham.
Which, incidentally, we may reach Everton. We may reach Everton. Possibly not. We'll find out. But first off, of course, we have to talk about Wrexham. Now, Reuben, Wrexham play, don't they? Premier League side Chelsea in the FA Cup at the weekend. And we could see many more Premier League sides visiting North Wales if the Dragons, right, Steve, seal promotion from the Championship. They currently sit 6th in England's second tier. Occupying the... we're allowed to call it England? I guess it's England, isn't it?
It's English football. It just English historically happens that Wrexham is... because of when they were founded. One of the oldest clubs.
Okay. Well, they sit in England's second tier, occupying the final playoff place and are 4 points ahead of Southampton in 7th. I was kind of surprised to see that. I noticed a couple of weeks ago that they were in the playoffs, and I haven't paid much attention to them this season. The last time that we talked about them or I listened to anyone talking about them, it was mostly about conversation that the Championship was going to be brutally difficult for them. Yeah. And maybe it has been, but they seem to be handling it okay right now. There's at least a very real possibility that they could get into the playoffs.
Yeah, like you said, 4-point buffer. They've got a bit of an injury crisis. Crisis might be a strong word at the moment in central midfield. Ben Sheaf was brought in to
Ben Sheaf.
Yeah.
Where did they find him? At the Wheat Sheaf. Hey, remember the Wheat Sheaf? Hey, remember that?
What's that?
There was the sort of motorway service station.
Oh, yeah.
Wheat Sheaf. The Wheat Sheaf. Actually, no,
it's
it's
the name of many pubs.
I'm thinking of Little Chef.
No,
Little Chef.
I think.
Oh, wee
Not
chef.
the wee
I'm
chef.
confused.
The Scottish little chef.
I'm confused. Little Chef and Wheat Sheep. Wheat Sheep is a pub. Is sort of
Pub name, yeah.
Pub name.
Country pub name.
Country
Yeah.
pub.
I love
yeah.
pubs.
Yeah. We all do.
Their best central
all
midfielder is out for the season with a medial ligament injury.
Oh,
Yeah.
medial ligament, you say?
And,
have you ever eaten at the medial ligament? No, go on, sorry.
Matty James, do you remember him?
I do remember
Leicester
him.
City,
Yeah.
came through at Man United.
Yeah.
He's also there and injured.
Oh,
So they're getting this in this Chelsea Cup tie. They're likely to play Zach Viner, who
right.
they signed from Bristol City, who is a central defender in midfield. He's played there a couple of times in recent weeks. He can do it.
It'll be okay if he's John Stones.
Well, quite. And Phil Parkinson, their manager, has a good record of evolving squads and kind of rebuilding them as they go, because obviously with back-to-back promotions, they've had to do that quite often. Like you'll remember Paul Mullin.
I do remember Paul Mullin.
Who they signed when they were in the National League from League Two.
Yes.
I think it was at Cambridge.
Right.
And he got them promoted. He was essentially a League One level player playing in the National League, got them up. And now obviously they're in the Championship. He's now been loaned out back to League One.
Right.
So you have to keep on
bless him.
moving. When you succeed that quickly and climb up to the pyramid, you have to keep changing your squad and moving your heroes on because they're no longer of the level.
Right.
So they've had a lot of turnover and dealt with it quite well. They have a left back called Libby Kakache, who I once signed for Palace on FIFA.
Really?
Yeah. He's also injured.
Okay.
But yeah, it's quite exciting. They've got Kiefer Moore up top. Do you remember him?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Played for Bournemouth a bit, Wales international.
Yeah.
And he started the season well, then only scored one goal in his last 11 games. So he's been kind of in and out of the team with another player called Sam Smith, not that one.
Not the owner of all those pubs.
No, nor the singer.
Yeah.
So I was, like, some Wrexham fans that I was listening to this week were debating about who should start against Chelsea. Given the nature of the game and the formation they play is 3-4-3, which will inevitably turn into a back five against a Premier League team.
Yeah.
You'd expect in that kind of game you want the big man, which is Kiefer Moore, to bring the ball down.
Okay.
Yeah. So
it's quite interesting, isn't it?
the last time they played each other?
Should I guess?
Yeah.
1743.
1982.
Oh,
Oh, wow.
In League Division 2.
Wow.
When Chelsea were in the second tier.
Oh, good Lord, that's exciting.
Yeah.
How about that?
But one last thing, their manager, so obviously this is a big deal for them, the Chelsea FA Cup game, but promotion is more important. Their manager has a very good record of this. When he was Bradford City manager, his team dumped Jose Mourinho's soon-to-be crowned champions out of the FA Cup.
Love a little dumping.
And 2 years before that, he took Bradford to the League Cup final where they lost to Swansea. They got absolutely battered by Swansea.
Okay.
But they got promoted that season as well. So he's got quite a good record of balancing these two things. And yeah, it's looking positive. But if they don't go up this season, then it feels kind of inevitable that it will happen maybe next season.
Well, is it written in the stars, JPB?
Promotion, I suspect probably, I think it's inevitable they will get promoted to the Premier League.
It feels as though that it's just sort of that it's someone's reached down and is just going, yep, no, yep.
They have, they make money through obviously how famous they are. They buy good players. Although it's worth remembering, some of the big name players they brought in, they've also let go this year, right? Like McLean's gone, Conor Cody's gone. So it's not just guys you remember from the Premier League,
sure,
who are in the team at the moment. And they seem to be, making pretty good football decisions. They seem to know. I don't think it's like a kind of interfering celebrity owner scenario at all. I think it seems like they give Phil Parkinson quite a lot of autonomy. So yeah, I would suspect that the long-term momentum is with them, and if they don't crack it this year, they probably will get there sooner rather than later.
What do you guys think the Premier League looks like with Wrexham? I feel because it's such a media beast, right? That it feels as though that will kind of change the lens through which we look at the league, in a sense, or at least a big chunk of the international audience will suddenly be focused on the relegation battle in a way that
I think it will be big from the perspective of having a team who's new to the Premier League, who is also a big draw themselves. Generally, if we get a new team into the Premier League, most of the coverage they get is, haven't they done well? Blackpool, Luton Town, I think probably who else? Huddersfield.
Sure.
Three, I guess, from the last sort of 15 years. And it's, they've done well, brilliant effort by those guys.
They've tried to score goals.
But if Wrexham are here, Like I don't think that will be the narrative, because obviously they will have come. I mean, if they get up this year, it will be 4 promotions on the spin or something, which is bonkers,
crazy.
But I think there will be more. I think the fact that there will be lots of famous people at the games, and like there will be lots of tourists trying to go to the games, all that kind of thing. Like it will just be a different vibe.
There'll be less of the condescension.
Yeah, there will be less of the haven't they done well? Yeah. But I also think within 2 months, people like that sort of stuff people will get very bored of, or rather they get familiar with, and so at that point they'd probably be taken more in their own terms.
Do you think there's any like downside to this? You know, just to look at it the other side.
Don't make me do this bit.
Well, then to the whole table, right? Like to the whole table.
I'll do it.
I'm looking at you, but I'm talking to the whole table, JJ. The downside I'm talking about is, and playing devil's advocate here, does it make a mockery of the Football League system that we have, that Wrexham can get promoted in theory every single season in a row up to the Premier League?
That's a very good question, and multi-layered.
Yeah.
Because
I can't wait for your multi-layered answer.
Well, what they've basically done is manage something very well with not huge amounts of investment. There isn't a lot.
Sure.
Like their salaries and stuff in the lower leagues were very high compared to everyone else.
Yeah.
And they spent loads of money on players all the way up.
Yeah.
But you've seen it before with lots of clubs. Like Bournemouth did something similar, right? They sort of rolled the way up. It's not unheard of. If you do things sensibly, if you start low enough in the leagues and you are sensible, you can climb up. It's not that far away. I mean, the boy KSI just bought a big stake in Dagenham and Redbridge, right? They're in the 6th tier, I think. So it's not unfeasible that he could get them up to a higher league, and the investment.
He's a more famous JJ than you.
That's correct, yeah. Return on investment is huge, you know, and you've got like there's hashtag United League below that, and then like all those teams could go quite easily and go up.
Sure.
This is the thing, right? This is where it becomes less romantic, because the idea we have of football, especially like I guess was in England, is that it's this romantic thing where it's a part of the community and everyone goes out and, you know, here's old George. He's been coming here for 72 years. He's slower than a T-Rex, like most humans are.
Yeah.
Don't know why that came into my mind. Anyway, so then
I think I know.
Old George has always been scared T-Rex would come and chase him out of the league.
Yeah.
He's been working that club forever. And then you have like Wigan and all these teams, like I don't know where they even are on a map.
Sure.
And you can get these teams that climb up and whatever. But they're just parts of the community. But as soon as someone comes along and runs it like an American company with all lawyers and all financial CEOs and all the CE people, you know, then suddenly it becomes it's just a business. It's like supporting Asda versus Tesco, which is essentially what a lot of football has become. Is like people support teams like Arsenal, Man United, Man City, and they'll around the world, and they love them. They'll get tattoos for them. But it's like supporting a supermarket, basically. It's just a big company. Yeah. And so that's like, while at the very start, the Wrexham story was great. I fully bought in. I did them a Football Manager, got them to the Premier League, done exactly what I did with them, as they got up to the same times.
Nice little humble brag.
Well, I did, because I'm amazing at that game. But they've even got like I think Max Cleworth, I remember having him in the game back in the day, and he's still playing for them. He starts at centre-back.
Right.
So they've got all these bits, and they're still tied to the community. Everything they've done is right. But I think for a lot of people, the sort of cutesy romantic story is kind of dissipated, maybe the right word.
Is it on the turn?
Yeah. Well, it's natural, because then
we've left the milk exposed,
especially
for too
within
long,
England as well. Anything in the UK, anyone who is in any way successful, like, no, you should be held down.
Sure.
We must bow to the king. You know, people above us are who we should be. They can't possibly have any success.
Well, there's a lot
Americans
of
love Rising.
There's a lot of they love a kind of rags to riches story. They love that, whatever. But so I've got a friend who supports Grimsby, and he doesn't like it.
I'm sorry.
Me too.
Right.
But I
he
think
doesn't like Grimsby, or he doesn't like the Wrexham.
He loves Grimsby.
Right. He loves Grimsby, because I know a lot of Grimsby supporters that don't like Grimsby.
But he doesn't like the Wrexham story because, you know, understandably, there's a lot of envy throughout the Football League of, well, they've just spent their way to the top. But the thing that mitigates that for me is every time I read anything from Rob Mack or Ryan Reynolds, they're all about doing it sustainably. They're like stadium infrastructure, looking after the town. And you could argue that, you know, it's because it's a bit of a Hollywood project and whatever, like something has been lost, but they do care. And that is different to a lot of money of like bankrolling teams going up.
Whether they intended to or not.
Yeah.
And that's clear that they care. I love Rob McElhenney and everything he's touched with, like It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia and everything. So naturally, I just want him to do good things because he's a genius, right? But when they inevitably sell, and they will have to sell at some point, surely, to really take it to the next level.
Or maybe they'll still be the face of it, but they'll have other investors.
But, hypothetically, the value of the club will be incomparable to what it would have been when they were in the National League.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know. I had mixed feelings. So when they were in non-league, I was quite sympathetic on the basis that lots of non-league owners are bad, and if you encouraging people to go watch their local team is good, and trying to make a local team good with money, which is also clean money, which is a good thing broadly.
Yeah. And North Wales is a big catchment area,
right? And also Wrexham, it's worth remembering Wrexham, the fact that Wrexham was in Wrexham are just not Wrexham. Sorry, let me say that again. Wrexham were not just like any other non-league team. Wrexham were a really big club who had fallen on bad times, and that's why they were playing at non-league level. Wrexham is a really big town. Wrexham are, the third biggest club in Wales. Maybe. I mean, their local fan base is huge, and the history of the club is huge, and so they were not just like any other National League team.
That's right. Chester, am I right? Yeah.
So
I agree.
And so I think there's a case for there's a moral case for them progressing. Certainly, I guess the issue is that with every promotion they've had, I've started to sort of rethink it a little bit. And I guess, and while I don't criticize the guys involved at all, because I think they have done a really good job, and I think they've done it for. I don't even mind the reasons they've done it for, because I think that so many people who own football clubs in the UK are just bad faith actors.
Yeah.
At the same time, do I think it's healthy for British football to have this thing where the best way to go from being bad to good is to have two very rich, famous Americans buy you?
That was kind of my point.
Not really. Yeah. I don't think that's a cool system.
I don't. We are where we are.
I don't want it to happen
right?
more. I know it has happened more already.
How many people who own Premier League clubs do I think, oh, it's so cool that they own that club? Yeah, what a great thing for English football, right? That guy owns that club.
Steve Parish.
I mean, Parish is maybe one of the few.
He's one of the exceptions. He's a fan. He brought them out of
trouble. Exactly. But in so many other cases,
all the Americans around him.
And it's not even just Premier League either. It's have a look at the ownership in Championship clubs.
Sure.
So I think...
Yeah, Birmingham's a good example. They're trying to chase it.
Well, they're trying to copy Wrexham, aren't they?
Yeah, and there'll be so many copycats now because anybody, I mean, there already are, but there'll be so many rich and famous people who see what's happening at Wrexham and think, that'd be really cool if I did that. Why can't that happen for me? And they'll try and do it.
What if I was on camera?
And they'll try and do it and they'll get it wrong. And
because they won't have the same buy-in or focus.
And that kind of buzz they'll try and generate will actually make things worse. I've got nothing against the Ryan Reynolds and Rob Mack at all.
Sure.
But I also think it's, English football club ownership is in the main pretty bad.
On the valuation thing, paragraph from a recent piece on the Athletic, the pair paid a token £1 to buy the Ailing team, who were then playing down in the fifth tier, alongside a promise to invest a further £2 million. 5 years and 3 successive promotions later, the same club are valued at £350 million.
Good God!
They're on their most recent bit of influx of investment. That
was London house prices, isn't it?
Well, we saw how we've done Wrexham videos and stuff. They get a huge audience. They're world famous.
Yeah.
It's what they've achieved is really impressive.
Sure.
And so while I say I wonder whether the romantic bit's gone out, it hasn't. Especially people who support Wrexham. I've watched a couple of games of people who support Wrexham, and they love it. Can't believe it.
Cousin Gary's a big fan.
Well, there you go,
Cousin Gary.
So it's obviously that's a great part of it. But then the whole thing, I think my point more is that the whole of football. What are you really supporting? What is it you're watching?
Yeah. Just want to say, Cousin Gary's been there from the beginning. I went to a wedding when I was 7 years old in Wrexham, where Cousin Gary was, and I fell asleep standing up on the dance floor like a horse.
It's hard to do.
Yeah.
Do horses fall asleep standing up?
Were you leaning on anything or anyone?
No. There was a photo of me just wobbling, a mid wobble.
Did I understand wearing a backpack at the time?
Probably. That's how I stayed standing up.
Too many apple juices.
Too many apple juices. It was the 90s. We were allowed to drink alcohol at 7 years old. Anyway, we haven't got time for Everton, have we, Steve?
No, let's do it properly.
We'll do it properly by not doing it again on any other bogger. Everton, of course, defeated a doomed Burnley 2-0. We're not going to talk about it. I'm just expressing that is what happened on Tuesday evening. Congratulations to everyone involved. And John McKenzie is going to have to buy me lunch, it looks like, because we've got a little wager. I'm 10th or up, he's 11th or down. And that sweet lunch is going to be delicious and expensive, John. It's going to be expensive. How about that?
What will we have for pudding, do you think?
What will I have for pudding? Just sour grapes, hopefully, and covered in John McKenzie's little tears.
Nice.
What a dickhead. Right. That's it. Reuben, thanks very much.
Thank you.
JPB, thank you.
Thank you.
JJ, thank you.
Goodbye.
And Steve also was here.
Yes, I was.
We'll be back. Actually, we have a Ring for Analysis episode this week, which is about a as of yet undetermined subject. Look forward to that. It's audio only. You've got to subscribe to the RSS feed to enjoy it. Thank you. Goodbye.